it's Johnny, the caveman, with the Carnivore Caveman Keto couple. Welcome back to the channel. So today we've got a recipe for you. Deb and I have discovered keto cloud bread, and it's really changed our world. If you're missing buns and breads, like hamburger buns, bread for grilled cheese, you're gonna love this recipe. I'm gonna do basically a double batch. I'm gonna let you know everything you need. As a matter of fact, I'll list it right here. Here are the ingredients. It's kind of involved, but what I do when I make it, I make a bunch of it. I make enough that's going to last us a week or two, and that way it's not so bad. So some things you're going to need. You're going to need a mixer and a nice mixing bowl. If you have a KitchenAid mixer, which I used to have, but we just don't have room for it in the RV, this is really going to make things easy. One of these high-speed mixers too, I really like that. A few mixing bowls, of course. Ingredients are pretty simple. You're going to need egg whites. We're going to separate some egg whites. I'm going to use 10 egg whites, and I'll probably use 3 of the egg yolks in this recipe. You're going to need some cream of tartar to add with your egg whites so they fluff up and get nice and firm. You're going to need some heavy whipping cream that we're going to whip up with the high-speed mixer. And you're going to need a little bit of cheese, either Parmesan or mozzarella. And what you want to do is put that in a food processor and mix it up and get it nice and fine, because I like to put a little cheese in there just to give it a little flavor and a little crisp, I think. All right, everybody, separating eggs. Not my favorite thing to do, and I tried this recipe with store-bought egg whites, and I don't know if I was doing something wrong. I just could not get them to whip up like fresh eggs. So what I like to do is separate them into a small bowl, because here's exactly what I want. Exactly what I did not want to happen just happened. So when you're separating your egg whites to whip them up, you can't have any yolk in your egg whites. That one didn't work out, so I just put that off to the side in another bowl. Still a good egg, so don't throw it away. If you get any fat in your egg whites, when you go to whip them up, they won't whip up. I learned this the hard way. I did a batch and I got a little yolk and I didn't think anything of it, and they just did not. They did not whip up at all. I couldn't get them to whip. So, got online, of course, and figured out that if you get any fat from the egg yolk, your egg whites will not whip up. So, really smart thing to do, separate each egg or every 2 in a little bowl. Dump it into your big bowl, because you don't want to, and I learned this the hard way too. I had like 6 eggs separated, and then on the last one, I ended up getting some yolk, and it's just a pain. You got to try. I don't know if you can, once you get it in, if you can get it all the way out. So separate it in a separate little bowl. That way, if you do get some, oh God, I just did it again. Okay. Those are going to be eggs for omelets or something. And I'm not going to make you sit there and watch me do all of these egg whites. Ooh. Okay. Got a little shell. Don't want that in there. So I'm just going to do like 10, 11 eggs. See if I can get this one just right. And I've heard different little secrets to separating yolks. I put it in a bowl and use a plastic squeeze bottle, and you just suck the egg yolk up with the plastic bottle. I didn't have a lot of success with that. So if anybody's got any ideas about separating egg whites, I'm all ears. So I'll be right back after all the egg whites are separated. Okay, so the egg whites are separated. I went ahead and did a whole dozen egg whites. And I got my yolks right here, and right now I'm going to whip up some heavy whipping cream. Now there are 2 versions of this recipe. You can use heavy whipping cream or you can use cream cheese. I found that the heavy whipping cream, it's worth going through the work for it's worth the work of whipping it up, because the cream cheese, it doesn't blend very good. It's always real chunky, and I just like the heavy whipping cream recipe a little bit better. So this is a 1 pint container of heavy whipping cream, and I'm going to use about half of it. You always want to use the best ingredients you can. If you can afford pasture-raised eggs, great. If you can afford grass-fed heavy whipping cream, again, it's just great. So I've got half that pint in here, and I'm going to use my high-speed KitchenAid mixer. This thing is great. I love this. And it only takes a couple minutes to get this whipped up. I'm going to make you watch this whole thing. I'm going to speed it up with a little time lapse. All right, so they are whipped up nice and creamy. Use my spatula. Get that. So the half a pint is probably quite a bit more than what you're going to need. But what I'll do is I'll add a little monk fruit to this, a little powdered monk fruit to this, and make some real whipped cream, and I love that. So that's done. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for right now, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just got my egg whites out of the refrigerator. You want to keep these cool for sure. Next thing you want to do is use some cream of tartar, and I'm told cream of tartar helps the egg whites whip up and they're a little more firm. So I've got basically a dozen in here. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons. I'm running a little low, so I'm just going to put everything I got left in here. And I heard, what is it? There's another couple things that will make your egg whites firm up, just like cream of tartar. But I've got my cream of tartar in there, and there's different opinions on how much cream of tartar you use. You can use so much per egg, but I just feel like as long as you've got some cream of tartar in there, it's going to help these whip up. So once again, I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing. I'm going to do a little editing, but you basically start off whipping your eggs slowly. And what I do as they whip up a little bit, then I speed it up a little bit, but I start off pretty slow. And with this mixer like this, I'm going to guess it takes about 6 minutes, 7 minutes. Again, if anybody has suggestions on how to get egg whites to whip up quicker, I'm game. The KitchenAid mixer would be really nice right now. Usually when I do this, Deb and I take turns whipping these. Okay, egg whites are whipped up. So I'm always amazed at how so little egg white can whip up into such awesome volume in a bowl. So I got my egg whites. I got my oven preheating to anywhere from 350 to 375. You're going to keep a close eye on these. Okay, so we're done with the egg whites for right now. Remember my egg yolks? I'm going to use roughly three to 4 egg yolks. Going to kind of mix those up a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to grab some of my heavy whipping cream that I whipped up earlier. I'm going to put that in here, and I think I'm just going to use a fork to mix that up. And the heavy whipping cream is going to really lower in volume here. It's going to get kind of runny, but not quite as runny as, you know, just liquid creamer. Okay, so it's kind of got a raw egg white consistency. Now we're going to take the egg yolk mixture with the heavy whipping cream, pour it in here. And we're going to fold it in. We're not going to mix it with the mixer or anything. We're just going to fold it in, the egg whites. Trying to keep the egg whites nice and fluffy. They'll go down a little bit, but not too much. Okay. Now this is my own little spin. At the same time, I'm going to add a little, this is mozzarella. I prefer Parmesan because of the flavor, but I was out of Parmesan. And I put this in the food processor. And I'm just going to sprinkle this in here a little bit. Maybe a quarter cup. And just again, while you're folding in the egg yolks, fold in that cheese too. And I think that helps it hold together too. You get that cheese kind of melting into the egg whites and everything, and it does add flavor too. And who doesn't like cheese? Now, if you're dairy, intolerant, then you don't have to put the cheese in. I don't know, but you would need cream cheese or heavy whipping cream. So whichever one of those you do better on, I would just use that. But pretty sure you need one or the other. Okay, so they're staying nice and fluffy. I'm getting all the way down to the bottom. The yolks tend to go down to the bottom, so you want to make sure you get the whole thing folded in. Okay, another thing I like to do is I like to add a little garlic powder for flavor. I don't know, maybe a teaspoon. And you can also sprinkle the garlic powder on the outside, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. But we're just about ready here. Okay, nice consistency there. Then I have a big spoon that I use. So what I did, I put parchment paper on a baking sheet. Oven once again is warming up. And this is all there is to making cloud bread once you have the batter. And you'll find the right size spoon. I just kind of plop it on, round, make it round. And you just kind of hit the top and it kind of spreads it out a little bit. Like so. And you can make sweet treats out of these too. And I'll have another video. I made ice cream sandwiches using this recipe too. And they were awesome. This was a game changer for Deb and I. It had been a long time since we had a bun. And we made another recipe, it was more cheese than anything. And they were good, but not like this. These are just amazing. These make great grilled cheese, great hamburger buns. They're just awesome. Okay. So there's the first batch. I'm gonna put I like to keep my egg whites in the fridge or freezer, keep them nice and cold. So I've got them on my baking sheet here. I'm gonna sprinkle a little more garlic. And I also have some fine popcorn salt, just for a little more flavor. Okay, they're going to go in my oven. There they are. They're going to swell and then they shrink back down. So we're going to put them in that 350 to 375 oven. Oh, depending on your oven, 5 to 10 minutes. I'll be right back when they come out. So when they're in the oven, they're going to puff up like that. Then they're going to start to brown, and they're going to cool much thinner, but still have nice volume. Okay, it's time to get them out of the oven. You guys are going to love this. And by the way, the RV just smells incredible when these things are cooking. And of course, if Deb and I can do it in the RV, in this tiny environment, I have to clean as I bake and cook in here. When you have a big kitchen, it's going to be easy, and you're going to enjoy doing this, knowing what you're going to get out of it. Oh, yum. And there they are. Check that out. So out of that batch of a dozen eggs, I'll probably get 10, 12 top and bottom, 10 of each, 10 to 12 of each, so you'll have enough for 10 to 12 hamburgers or sandwiches or whatever. But that is the cloud bread. I got another batch here. I've sprinkled a little cheddar cheese powder on top of that batch. Close that up. But yeah, anywhere from, depending on your oven, I know ovens vary so much, anywhere from 8 to 10, 12 minutes, something like that. But that's like a nice golden color, and they're beautiful. I love them. And if you haven't had a grilled cheese in a long time, oh man, you're gonna love these. And generally all I do, take them off and put them on this dry or cooling rack. And one of the cool things is you can totally reuse the parchment paper. You don't have to put new parchment paper down every time. There you go. The bottom looks like that, and you can use them either direction. Like this one looks really good on the top of a burger, and then that's the bottom of the burger, and they're pretty hearty. They feel really light and fluffy and brittle, but they hold up pretty doggone well. Okay, everybody, that is cloud bread. Stay tuned for the next video. We're going to use a very similar recipe, and like I said, we're going to make a pizza crust that is going to change your world. I am not kidding. If you've tried cauliflower pizza crusts, other things like that, and they're okay, but I'm telling you, my recipe that I tweaked a little bit with the cloud bread for pizza crust, it's as good as regular pizza. So hey, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed yet, please do. Hit that bell notification. It'll let you know when we put out our next video. And until then, keep eating meat, because meat heals. And keto cloud bread, you're going to love it.